Hi people, it's me, Anja, my pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. September was such a great reading month because I read 52 books, so the quantity was very satisfying, but so was the quality. The first book on this list is called Displacement. This book is a YA historical fiction graphic novel, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. This book follows a girl from modern day who gets transported to a Japanese concentration camps during World War II and learns a lot about her ancestry. This book is absolutely so fantastic, and honestly it reminded me of Real Not Free, which is such a high compliment because that book was one of my favorites in 2020. But anyway, I really like this book because first of all, the style and the art was absolutely so pretty, and it made the story so much more atmospheric and immersive. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The family dynamics felt very authentic, and the history felt so natural and so interesting, and the time traveling elements never felt like jarring or anything like that, if that makes any sense. This book is absolutely so good, and I'm so glad that I've been more and more drawn to graphic novels lately, ever since I read Heartstopper in April, because this book really set the precedent high. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 stars, and with that said, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Girl from the Sea. This book is a YA urban fantasy graphic novel that follows a young sapphic main character whose world changes upside down after being saved by a Selkie. I rated this book 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. Whenever I read graphic novels, I'm always afraid that since the story is so short, there will be underdeveloped plots, but this story wasn't underdeveloped at all. I really like this book because first of all, the illustrations were absolutely so pretty, the plot was so engaging and so intriguing, the characters were well developed and distinct, the romance felt so natural and so cute and so adorable, and the family dynamics were absolutely so wonderful. This book is absolutely so good, and I will gladly read more from this author in the future. I'm so excited to start their Witch Boy trilogy. That sounds like it's going to be absolutely so good, because this book was absolutely so awesome, and I really enjoyed it because it was so immersive and absolutely so atmospheric. So anyway, all that to say, I really enjoyed this book because I rated it 4 stars, and with all that said, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Anything But Fine. This book is a YA contemporary that I rated 4 stars that follows a young Australian gay boy whose newly broken foot brings him more than a new outlook on life without ballet, because he gains a boyfriend too. Also, for future reference, if I don't say that a book is a graphic novel, assume that it isn't. Anyway, I really like this book because first of all, the romance was so well developed and absolutely so well paced. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters were distinct and wonderful. And honestly, this story reminded me a lot of 1500 Miles from Under the Sun, or whatever that book was called, because it's a fluffy YA gay romantic book. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just fluffy and it's cute and it's adorable. So I really enjoyed it. I had really low expectations for this book because since it's so underrated, that either means that it's a hidden gem or that it's not that good. You know what I mean? So I think this book is a hidden gem because I really enjoyed it, and it was so cute and it was so adorable. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. So all that to say is that I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Tidesong. This book is a middle-grade fantasy graphic novel that I rated 4 out of 5 stars that follows a young witch who's training with relatives that she's never met, and when a spell goes wrong, she's determined to prove herself. This book was really good because it was whimsical, wholesome, and so much fun, and sometimes that's all I need. The world building was absolutely so magical and so lovely. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The friendships were well developed, and I really enjoyed the story so much. Sometimes when I read fluffy middle grade books, I find them to be too juvenile and too cheesy, but this book was right up my alley because it was absolutely so good, because it was so whimsical and it was so wholesome and it was absolutely so fun, and I just really enjoyed it, and I will gladly read more from this author in the future because the illustrations were so pretty and so immersive, and the story itself was so atmospheric, and it was so much fun to read. Literally, this book is so good, and it was so well done, and it was so well developed in every single element. So anyway, with all that said, I would highly recommend it because I really enjoyed it, and like I mentioned, I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least because this book is absolutely my favorite book of the entire month, and it is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. For those who don't know, this book is an adult historical fiction romance, and I rated it 5 out of 5 stars because it was absolutely so good. It follows Evelyn Hugo, a bisexual Cuban actress, as she reflects on the complexities of her life to a reporter. I love this book literally so much. I wasn't expecting it to live up to its hype, but it absolutely did. The story was so brilliant, so emotional, so beautiful, and absolutely so fascinating, and it was everything that I could have ever hoped for, and so much more. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters felt so authentic, and the sapphic romance was absolutely everything. There was nothing that I thought needed more attention or more development or anything like that. I love Evelyn Hugo so much because she's such a complex character, and I was absolutely so captivated by her. I love her relationship with Celia and with Haley and with Connor. I love this book so much. I was crying in the last 100 pages. Honestly, I don't think the adaptation will do her justice because you can't mess with perfection. And I think this book is so amazing and it's so well done. And I literally loved it so much because I loved every single element of it. I was so captivated by Evelyn, by her relationships with all of these people, by all of her 7 husbands, everything. This book is so good. I love it so much. I love Evelyn and Celia. I love Haley and Evelyn. I love Connor and Evelyn. Literally, this book is so awesome. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop talking about it. And I absolutely loved it. So anyway, all that to say, I would highly, highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I read 52 books in September, and that was absolutely so satisfying in both quality and quantity. I hope that October will be a good reading month too, especially with all my expectations surrounding my October TBR. If you watched that video, then you understand what I mean. I have very, very high hopes for all of those books on my October TBR. But anyway, if you enjoy this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the pineapple emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.